Hello everyone and welcome to the session on SOC 2 for privacy. The privacy landscape has changed in the recent past with new laws and record fines. In this session, we are going to look at how a SOC 2 report can help address your privacy compliance and provide assurance to your clients. For those who are new to SOC concepts, I recommend to see the session on SOC reports, updates from 2017, and also the SOC 2 for cloud security for understanding major cloud challenges that impact privacy too. These are the topics starting with our introduction, increasing privacy concerns, SOC 2 for privacy, and finally, how to manage the risk lifecycle and governance for privacy. I'm Ashwin and I'm the CEO of Essedia. I've been in IT and cybersecurity audits since the year 2002. I am a CPA, MBA, and have many of the leading certifications as mentioned in my profile. Essedia Incorporation is a CPA firm based in Denver, Colorado, with an associated office in Mumbai, India. We are listed with PCAOB and Cloud Security Alliance as auditors. We focus only on cybersecurity and related areas. Currently, we do not practice tax, and accounting is practiced as relevant to SOC 1 reports only. We have a team of well qualified professionals and we have large as well as SMB clients. Over the past few years, we have seen increasing privacy concerns. Privacy is now a major concern for the board in many entities in the wake of new regulations such as GDPR, CCPA, etc., and the incidents such as the Cambridge Analytica. We have seen that previous privacy protection measures such as the Privacy Shield and the EU Safe Harbor have failed. New regulations such as the GDPR and the CCPA are very stringent and entities are facing a challenge to comply with. The importance of privacy can be gauged by the astonishing amount of fines imposed by FTC and ICO displayed here. And of course, there are several other fines for GDPR. In a recent fine, a well known hotel booking platform was fined for delay in informing of a data breach as required to be intimated, which is 72 hours. HIPAA fines are increasing too. Now let's see how a SOC 2 for privacy can help us. In our previous sessions, we have seen that SOC reports are commonly used for vendor data security risks as well as for SOX or the Sarbanes-Oxley Act compliance. SOC 2, also known as ISAE 3000, is used to report on at least one of the five trust services criteria of security, availability, confidentiality, processing integrity, and privacy. So, privacy controls can be added in your SOC 2 report, which can also include third party controls such as for API and other risks described in our session on SOC 2 for cloud. The privacy controls in the Trust Services Criteria or the TSC are arranged in about 50 points of focus. The TSC organizes privacy category as under notice and communication of objectives, choice and consent, collection, use, retention and disposal, access, disclosure and notification, quality, monitoring and enforcement. The system description or the description criteria, which is also the section 3 of a SOC report, is mandatory by a service organization and is the basis of carrying out the examination. So if your scope covers privacy category, you need to cover the details of how your system describes the privacy related requirements and controls such as privacy commitment to customers, laws and regulations, as well as privacy governance covering the 8 privacy requirements that we just saw. It is equally important to note that entities also will need to align all the privacy related practices with their policies, procedures, contracts, and commitments under various laws and regulations. Some examples of privacy controls that may be relevant to your system are fingerprint records, editing and access controls for PII data, periodic reviews or RBAC controls, data definition standards for metadata, processing rules and controls for standards such as HIPAA, GDPR, CCPA, or as applicable, data retention, encryption, and disposal controls. So, along with the other SOC 2 criteria or cloud controls, the privacy category covering all controls relevant to the 8 privacy requirements and the 50 points of focus can be covered to demonstrate and provide assurance to third parties by an organization. Additionally, controls covering any specific privacy mandate such as HIPAA, GDPR, CCPA, etc. can be included as additional subject matter. Also, please note that a best practice for privacy governance is not only to include the privacy category in your SOC 2 report, but also to demand them from your vendors. Many of our clients, my friends from the security community, still keep asking me on the GAP, which is the generally accepted privacy principles by AICPA. Kindly note that the GAP is now obsolete. AICPA reorganized the privacy principles in 2017 into the updated Trust Services Privacy category into the 8 requirements that we just discussed earlier. In the year 2020, AICPA also introduced a new privacy management framework or the PMF to align with the new privacy regulations and the trust services criteria. The updated AICPA PMF covers 9 components such as management, agreement, notice and communication, collection and creation, use, retention and disposal, access, disclosure to third parties, security for privacy, data integrity and quality, monitoring and enforcement. If we need to cover only the SOC 2 privacy category, we do not need the SOC 2 Plus report. This is a terminology used if we are reporting on other than the 5 trust services criteria. For example, if we are reporting on any specific privacy mandate such as HIPAA, GDPR, CCPA, etc., this becomes an additional criteria for the SOC 2 Plus report. Cloud Security Alliance also introduced a code of conduct for privacy, mainly for CSPs to comply with GDPR. CSA proposes the combined adoption of this COC with the CCM controls and the STAR attestation. So, what are the factors for a privacy category to be included in a SOC 2 report? You will need to look at factors such as how many applications in scope, how many data sets in scope, input sources. We also need to look at if the entity has made a data flow diagrams or has conducted a privacy risk assessment or a DPIA. Now let us look at a privacy risk lifecycle and governance. Just to remind us that 63% of the data breaches, including privacy breaches, are due to third parties, such as in the case of the Cambridge Analytica. Even for the privacy category, entities will need to demonstrate a risk management lifecycle approach. For privacy specific risks, there are other frameworks such as NIST 2, which can be used by entities. NIST is a 3-part framework. The first is the core that consists of identify, govern, control, communicate, and protect aspects for an organizations to look at the high level requirements. The second is the profiles, where you prioritize your risks and evaluate your current state against your target state. The third is the implementation tier. The NIST framework is one of the best practices that can help organizations to manage their privacy risks. As part of your privacy risk assessment, it is also important to have a clear understanding of the data flows with the help of diagrams and how these controls are applied to each data set or even every segment of the flows, covering data security for data in transit or in motion, in use, and data at rest. Organizations will also need to report on all the aspects of privacy risks, covering monitoring as well as the effective mitigation of risks. As required in the SOC 2 common criteria, the COSO risk principles need to be applied at the privacy function or for privacy compliance. To do an effective privacy monitoring and mitigation, we need to define metrics of measurements wherein you define what threats you are monitoring and their related controls. Any variance must be monitored daily, weekly, or monthly as the case may be, and all exceptions or issues must be reported to the Privacy Governance Committee and also with legal compliance. The SOC 2 for Privacy reports on all the details of controls relevant to the privacy category of trust services criteria, which your clients can evaluate to get a comfort on your privacy and data security practices. Thank you for watching this session. Should you be interested to demonstrate your privacy assurance to your clients using SOC reports, kindly email us. Also, please note our disclaimer provided here. Thank you.